Hi guys, welcome back. I have notes. I'm going to try and make this work a little easier, so stick around. We're celebrating my 6-year Ketoversary. So to celebrate my 6-year Ketoversary, I decided to throw together a little video kind of for both the returning subscribers and any new folks that might click on the video today to see this. I am going to share my, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a bonus number 5 things that I have learned over the last 6 years of following a ketogenic diet or a ketogenic way of life. For those of you who are returning, I appreciate you guys tuning in today and clicking on today's video. Y'all are awesome. I always appreciate you every single time. Those of you who are new, my name is Karen. This is Southern Ketovore. I have been at it following a ketogenic diet for 6 years now. July 2017 was when I learned about keto. I originally started in an effort to get my type 2 diabetes under control. I was running with some really high blood sugars, along with some other really unfortunate and not fun things that had me feeling pretty crummy all the time. And so at that time, 36 years old, I was like, okay, I am too young to be feeling this crappy. Luckily, I had a good friend, good head on his shoulders, who gave me some info on following keto in an effort to try and get my blood sugars under control. And that's all she wrote. Everything changed from there. I have made a list. I was going to talk about all my improvements, but a lot of the people who are returning probably don't want to go through all of that again. So I'm going to list them, like over here. And I always leave things out, so it helps more when I make a list like this because it's easy for me to forget because there are so many improvements in my life to list off that it's just easy to like leave a couple of them out. So there. I have seen tremendous improvements over the course of the last 6 years. Have I been perfect? Nuh-uh. Not even a little bit. No. I have been consistent enough to have consistent results as far as my overall health is concerned. And all of those health improvements that I have seen with following a ketogenic diet, I have been consistent enough to keep all of those exactly the way that I want them to be for this entire 6 years. I have, however, been inconsistent enough that I have not reached my weight loss goals. I am currently 171 pounds, 5'6.5". I started out this journey at 219 pounds, so I've lost almost 50 pounds, which is fantastic, and I am not complaining. I feel way better having lost that much. But I do still have a little ways to get to goal. I want to get maybe another 20-25 pounds to get to my ultimate goal. But that's something that will come with consistency. Slow and steady wins the race, or it's a marathon, not a sprint. The biggest thing is that my overall life, my daily living has improved tremendously by following a ketogenic way of life. Remember that list. You can rewind and go back and look at the list because some of those things were debilitating. Some of those things were destructive. Some of those things disrupted my life truly and sincerely. And not just my life, but the life of my family members. A lot of them were affected too. My sweet and wonderful husband, bless him, that man put up with a lot from me. Between how terrible I felt, how moody I was, and I think honestly he had a lot of times he was really worried about what was going to happen to me with my health. So I put everybody through the ringer, you would say. But luckily, I have at least stuck with this consistently enough over the last 6 years that my health is still, has tremendously improved, and I cannot stress that enough. Yes, weight loss is awesome, and that's one of the original reasons that I started with following a ketogenic diet. I do still lose. It's just way slower now than it used to be. And I'm okay with that because as long as I'm seeing these big health improvements, then it's worth it if it takes a little bit longer. I'm okay with that. But the main purpose of this video is I wanted to share with you the 4, maybe with a bonus number 5, things that I have learned in the last 6 years. And hopefully these are tips that might help you out if you were new to your journey, or if you've been doing this for a little while and maybe you've hit a little snag or a little roadblock or something along the way that's made things a little bit more difficult. Let's jump into it. All right, so my 4 main things. Number 1, and I took notes if you see me looking down, but number 1, and I've learned this because I have not lived it fully, consistency is key. Now, I'm human. We're all human. I work. I have a family. I have people that rely on me. I'm not perfect. And I am probably really, really consistent 80 to 90% of the time. And then that other 10 to 20% of the time, I am either not fasting appropriately, or I'm having too much peanut butter, or too much dairy, or way too many calories, or I am just eating too frequently, or maybe I'm having a cheat meal and that cheat meal turns into a cheat 48 hours. And so I am not perfect. And I can tell you, because I haven't been perfect, that had I been more consistent, I probably would have reached more goals, or at least been closer to my goals. So consistency is key. If you are just starting with jumping into a ketogenic diet, take baby steps. You know, some people, yes, going cold turkey and cutting everything out day 1 is the way to go. But for some people, you might be doomed for failure if you make it too difficult too quickly. So maybe the best thing is, okay, for a week I'm not going to have any bread. The next week, okay, I'm cutting out soda. The next week, okay, I'm switching my coffee creamer to some stevia and some heavy cream. Baby steps are okay, because you have to look at this as a lifelong change and not just a fad diet, not just a quick fix. So if you make those changes in a comfortable way and consistently make those improvements, you will see consistent improvements yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2 tip, thing I've learned, prep. Okay, prep everything. I know a lot of us are busy and it's hard. Okay, it's hard to prep sometimes, and I am not great at it all the time, but I am great at it a good bit of the time. I'm not gonna lie. I do not make elaborate meals. I don't follow big elaborate recipes. I essentially prep a protein, and then I prep a couple of vegetables. And then all I have to do is reach into my fridge and throw things on a plate and heat them up, or throw things on a plate and eat them cold. That little bit of prep is worth it. And if you're not working on elaborate recipes that call for 1.5 million ingredients, it makes it really easy to knock out a prep in an hour or 2. It doesn't have to be fancy to be tasty, and it definitely doesn't have to be fancy to be easy. You just want to be able to take a plate or take a container, throw some meat on there, throw a veggie or something on there. If you want veggies, you don't have to, but throw it on there and eat it. That preparation makes it a lot easier to make better choices. So doing things like prepping some egg muffins in the oven so you've got them in the morning and you can grab them on your way to work, that's an easy way to make sure that you're making the right choices. If you have a container that's got a chicken breast and a big salad in it and some dressing or something on the side, and you can take that with you to work for lunch, that's a great way to be prepared and be ready without having a whole lot of hoopla about getting your food prepared. So prep. Meal preparation is key to success, at least key to making success easier and a little less on your plate, especially if you're a busy, normal person with like a job and family. It's not even taking into consideration all of the other curveballs that life could throw you. Number 3, listen to the smartest person in the room. There are 1.5 million influencers, myself included, if you want to throw me into that, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things, okay? There are a whole bunch of people who are doing this, who have their own methods, what's worked for them, what they've seen work for clients, say if they're a coach or whatever it might be. You have a lot of people with a lot of information out there. And sometimes it feels like you're in a really noisy hallway and you can't even pick out the voice that makes sense to you. Take a deep breath. Find the smartest person in the room, okay? There are some really great resources available out there, but you have to know where to look and what to look for. You're looking for the doctors that are experts in this field. For me personally, obviously, Ken Berry. Dr. Berry is like one of the most brilliant minds in this community. Number 2, Dr. Eric Westman, who I think is super underrated. Not enough people mention him, but everything is just a no-frills, very simple and diplomatic approach. If you haven't watched his original white coat video on how to follow a ketogenic diet, do it. It is so stupid simple that it will make you like have an aha moment every 5 minutes over the course of the 40-minute video. Okay? Listen to people like them. There are so many amazing resources with TED Talks or lectures from these really brilliant minds, and those are the people that you should be listening to really find some information on how you are improving your health. Yes, there are some great people who have lost weight and improved their health that are giving you some really great anecdotal advice. But sometimes listening to those people who are trained in how to do this, or who instruct and teach people how to do this, they are the smartest people in the room, and they are the ones that are going to help get you there. Me personally, I listen often. I spend every single morning when I'm getting ready for work watching those videos and listening to those podcasts. I do the same thing when I'm at work. I'm listening to podcasts or listening to audiobooks, like Gary Taubes books or the Ben Bickman book, Why We Get Sick, which is, by the way, my #1 recommended book. If you're into those, his audiobook for that is fantastic. But if you are constantly consuming information that will help you reach your goals, it will help you to be more consistent. Because if you listen and then you don't follow, you're going to feel like you're wasting your time. So listen, and it's going to help you stay on track because you're going to feel motivated. You're going to have some fuel in your tank to get you there. So that one is number 3. All right. Now, number 4, this is one that is, to me, something I mention a lot on this channel, which is kind of the you do you thing. I know I say you do you a lot, or stay in your lane. I say that a lot. But you have to decide, okay, what are my goals? What are my health goals, fitness goals, weight loss goals? What are my goals? What's it going to take for me to get there? And you decide on that plan, the plan that's going to work the best for you. You decide your plan. What is right for me might not be the perfect thing for you, and what is right for you might not be the perfect thing for the person, that is watching this video 2 doors down from you. So you need to decide on what your goals are and what your commitments are with your new diet, with whatever it is you're doing, whether it is keto, ketovore, carnivore, if you're doing just low carb or paleo, whatever it is, you decide what your goals are and then stick to it. Being consistent, going back to number 1, being consistent with your personal goals is the first and best and most important thing, is to remember your goals and not try and follow everybody else and what they're doing. Because like I said, it's a really noisy hallway and it's easy to get distracted if that's the case. Now, that kind of leads into my bonus one, which is number 5. It's kind of a bonus. That's what we're going to go with as a bonus. But it took me a while to learn this, and so I'm almost like shamefully sharing this, but as I have gotten more seasoned in the community, this is something that has bothered me more and more. But it is, don't be Keto Police. Don't be dogmatic. Don't. It is so easy to want to be. It really is. I remember early on when I first started, the first Facebook group that I joined was the group for Keto Connect, which was a huge instrumental part in my success in the beginning. In 2017, everything was very new. The only low carb thing that was on the market were the Mission low carb, the carb balanced tortillas. But otherwise, like, there weren't low carb things. There weren't keto products and things. So we kind of all had to lean on each other to really learn a lot. And I remember the first time that someone kind of keto policed me and got like really nasty with me about drinking coffee with heavy cream. And I remember, like, it was, the whole, like, coffee is poison, coffee's gonna kill you, whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I was going through a quart bottle of coffee meat a day. And now I had dropped back to, I was still drinking coffee, but I was drinking it with a tablespoon of heavy cream in each of my cups. And I cut out so much sugar, and it was like, this was my tool for staying consistent, sticking with everything else, was I was still having this one thing. And I had this really hateful, dogmatic person that barked at me about coffee. And for a little while I was discouraged, and I considered quitting, because I was like, well, if I'm not doing it right, why am I doing this at all? You know, and I felt like I was a failure. And then time progressed, and I started to see results, and I started to get arrogant. And that's what a lot of us do. We start to see results and we start to get arrogant. We learn and learn and learn and learn, and then we're like, you know, and so then we start kind of barking orders at people. And then we start being the ones that say things like, that's not keto. That's not carnivore. And y'all, it's rude, okay? There is a way to say, hey, this might not be the best, you know. Keep an eye on that, and if you start feeling XYZ, or if you start, you know, not seeing results, this might be something you want to consider cutting out. That's one really nice, diplomatic, and polite way, helpful way to say something to somebody. But this is poison, you're stupid, this is the wrong way to do things, absolutely not. The dogmatic, rude, awful Keto Police stuff is so not okay. First of all, like, it just makes you kind of like lousy. It's not nice. But the biggest problem that I see with it now, as a veteran, and I am saying this and I am admitting with my arrogance, I was that way. I absolutely was. What you're doing when you do that is, if there is a newbie who is trying their hardest to transform from a really terrible standard American diet to trying to follow a clean ketogenic diet, and you have somebody that jumps on and yells at them about dairy, or yells at them about coffee, or yells at them about low carb tortillas, or some kind of vegetable and like plants being poisoned, whatever, you are discouraging them. These are people that have made a huge step towards improving their health, and you're kind of, I want to say the S word here, but you know, you're raining on their parade, all right? And it doesn't matter what improvements they've seen. If you make them feel inferior, and if you make them feel like they're failing and they're doing it wrong, they might quit. And there's a potential for these people to see a huge change in their lives, something that can absolutely reverse chronic health conditions, can improve their, can save their lives. And by being an arrogant butthead, you might ruin their chance of adding years to their life, okay? Adding time to see their grandchildren, adding time to gain mobility, adding time to maybe improve their cognition and maybe not see a life of dementia in their future. Don't be a butthead, okay? My bonus tip number 5 is, the smarter you get, be more and more kind and welcoming and helpful to people, and be less of a butt, okay? Don't tell anybody like, oh, you can't eat those eggs. I mean, girl, Stephanie. Going back to that. Or, you know, whatever kind of barking it is. If it's over the quality of meat, the quality of eggs, over coffee, over plants, over black pepper, poison pepper, whatever. Anyway, don't be that guy, all right? Be the cheerleader, be supportive. We are all in this together, and rising tides float all boats. Just saying. All right, so that's my celebration. 6-year Ketoversary. I'm excited. I am excited to start what is officially going to be year 7. So we're going to do that. Thank y'all for sticking in with me. I've been on YouTube now for a year and a half, and it has been super fun, and I'm hoping to continue to have fun with you guys and share the world with you guys. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, and if you're new here, welcome again. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank all of you for dealing with me in all of my different hair colors. This is just part of who I am. This is closest to natural, you can see. Anyway, it is what it is, guys. All right, I'm melting outside, so I'm going in. But I love you, mean it, and I will see y'all next time.